Well, hello, I'm Tag, and this is Life Done Free. Today I thought I would post a video about how we were forced into homesteading. But first I thought I'd tell you a little bit about us. We are an off-grid, freedom living family who is trying to push the boundaries of living free. Although we don't believe complete freedom is possible, we do believe we can get very, very close. With all the things going on today, we decided we would create a Life Done Free movement and do our part to help anyone who is interested in learning to break those modern day chains and live a little bit freer. But before we get there, I need to give you a little backstory. 2005, B and I became concerned with the direction the world was going, and we decided we needed to focus on filling the pantry and getting out of debt. We purchased food and supplies so that we would be a little less dependent on that just-in-time delivery system. We began gardening and started focusing our extra income on building up supplies so we could weather any storm. I used whatever discretionary income was left to pay down our debt because, like most people, I believed the American dream was a 30-year mortgage and a pocket full of credit cards. In 2008, B and I agreed we would save our money and purchase a larger property so we could become less insulated to the actions of others. We both agreed we would do this without borrowing any money. So starting right then, I began to work as hard as I could so that I could achieve our goals. And 9 years later, we paid cash for our homestead. The problem was, though, the land we chose had nothing on it except prairie grass and trees. B and I sat down and prioritized the things we needed to get accomplished in order to live freer. Our first goals would be to build a house, install energy and water. And in late 2017, we broke ground on our home. 2.5 years later, we had created a 100% off-grid home, and it's a good thing we did. So how are we forced into homesteading? Let me explain. For the last 25 years, I had worked in the corporate world. I was working as an executive for a financial holding company. Fast forward to 2020, and the COVID virus was gaining speed. All of these companies were affected. In 2021, I had received an email from the CEO asking how I felt about mandating the thing for all employees and contractors. I replied that I thought it was a horrible idea and that I would not be supportive, and in fact, I believed it violated HIPAA laws. To be clear, I'm not even anti those things. I just believe what someone puts in their body is a personal choice and that companies have no ownership over their employees' bodies. 2 weeks later, I received another email saying that the company would now mandate all employees and contractors get the thing by May the 1st. I had 30 days to make everyone take it. This put me into a very tough spot. Did I want to stay in my career that I had worked 25 years for? Or did I want to stay true to what I believed leadership was? I decided that day that I would encourage all employees and contractors to do their own research, make their own decision, but that I would not mandate it. I'd hoped that this issue would go away because I challenged the CEO directly, it did not. I received a follow-up email on May the 1st that asked me about the status for everyone. I replied with the ones that had received it and the ones that had not, and he exploded and said that he expected more from a leader and that I could not continue in my current role. And that was the end of my time at the company. See, this decision was incredibly hurtful to me because I had joined the team before they were even a company. I had led the efforts that had resulted in the company growing to $130 million. I'd been involved in every major decision. I laughed, cried, and bled for this company. I believed I would retire there. But you know, sometimes life has different plans. I decided right there that I would spend the rest of my life challenging people around me to live a little bit freer. I vow to never be a slave to others. I vow to live free, and this decision is how Life Done Free was born. The goal for this channel is to bring people together, to bring homesteads together who are committed to living free. We will work together to find new ways to accomplish these goals. I view it as a co-op of freedom. We will introduce you to other homesteads who were forced to make hard decisions, people who live it every single day. So what have we done? What are we working on? And what are the plans for the future? Well, so I thought I'd take a little bit of time and introduce you to our homestead. So when we bought the land, there was nothing on it. There was just prairie grass and trees. And so we began construction on our home. I built our home in 3 pods. And, you know, those pods started with a kitchen and a bathroom and a couple bedrooms so that we could spend weekends out here. And, you know, the stand that I took put me out quicker, so we never really had a chance to spend the weekends. We ended up moving. Second pod that I built on the home was the living room, and the third pod was the other bedrooms, the laundry rooms, additional bathrooms, etc. We also built a building that will house our commercial grade processing kitchen. This kitchen's going to allow my wife to make all of her wonderful goodies, because my wife makes cheese and bread and preserves everything from the garden. She'll process animals and all the things that the family needs. In addition, we put in a high-speed water system. So our water system has two main components, and soon to be three. So the first source of water I have is a 100-foot deep well. It sits 660 feet away from the house, and through a series of holding tanks and pumps, we get it down into the house. But the other one that I have is a 7,500-gallon rainwater storage system. It was an interesting challenge getting those systems all connected together and all working, so that in the end, my beautiful bride could choose at the washing machine, could decide, okay, I want to wash with rainwater versus well water. Our sewer system is handled by a septic. We put that in. It was a pretty easy process. All of our power comes from solar. It's interesting. People ask me all the time about, what advice I would give them as far as power goes. And, I always tell them, make sure whatever you do, you're making it modular. Because for us, we started with one inverter, two batteries, and a couple charge controllers, a few panels as we built this place. But as time's grown on, it has absolutely grown into the Freedom Electrical Co-op. In addition to that, I have a brand new 40 by 60 outbuilding that at some point will be my shop. This shop's important to me because it will allow me to do more and more of my own maintenance. It'll also allow me to build things that we'll need on the homestead. Another large project that we've got going on at the homestead today is we're 98% complete on a large pond. This pond's going to create 30% of my protein needs. It's going to give me, recreation, but also will become the third water source for the homestead. I've ran all the piping for it. I've done all of that. It's just now a matter of finishing up the final pieces and putting it together. In addition to that, we have an apiary. My wife loves to keep bees, and so every year we harvest the honey. We have a large garden. We have chickens. So as you can tell, the last 3 or 4 years have been pretty busy for us. We've built a lot of infrastructure, but there's a lot of infrastructure to come. After the stand that I took and the changes that have come on in my life, I've been committed that I'm going to challenge every single aspect of my life. I'm going to challenge every single one in an effort to live a little bit freer. We will continue to add infrastructure. We will continue to build. I hope that some of this, you relate to. I hope that you can look around at the world and say that you've got to take control of yourself and you've got to take control of the things that happen to you. I hope that you look out and say, hey, I'm going to challenge and I'm going to try to live a little bit freer. I'm committed. I'm going to do it every single day. I guess in the end, I'm Tag. Go live a life done free. Tag out.